Imagine being so brilliant that a former president of the United States singles you out as America's greatest threat. Not terrorists, not hostile nations. You. This week, Donald Trump issued a strong directive to Silicon Valley's titans. Stop hiring Indians. Not quietly through policy, not buried in immigration reforms publicly, directly, unapologetically. Why? Because the Indian intellect has evolved from being America's secret weapon to becoming its most feared competitor. Picture this. A packed auditorium in Washington, D.C. The who's who of American technology seated in the front rows. Sundar Pichai's empty chair casting a shadow. Satya Nadella's absence speaking volumes. And there behind the presidential podium, Donald Trump delivering what can only be described as a declaration of intellectual war. American companies, he declared, his voice cutting through the silence, must prioritize American workers. Stop the endless hiring of foreign nationals. Stop building your futures in Bangalore while abandoning Detroit. The room didn't just go quiet, it went cold. Because everyone knew what he really meant. This wasn't about all foreigners. The Chinese weren't mentioned. The Europeans got a pass. The Canadians weren't even a footnote. This was about one nationality, one talent pool, one intellectual force that has quietly, methodically, and brilliantly infiltrated every corner of American technological supremacy: Indians. But here's what Trump didn't say, and what every executive in that room knew. Without Indian minds, Silicon Valley doesn't just slow down, it stops. Without Indian innovation, American tech companies don't just lose their competitive edge, they lose their identity. Without Indian leadership, the companies that define American technological dominance cease to exist as we know them. So, let's decode the real message behind Trump's ultimatum. This isn't America first. This is America afraid. Let's ask the uncomfortable question that's echoing through every boardroom from Sortino to Seattle. Why Indians? Out of all the global talent pools flooding into Silicon Valley, why did Trump specifically target the one nationality that has consistently outperformed, out-innovated, and outled every other group in tech? The answer is as simple as it is stunning. Indians don't just work in American tech, they run it. Look at the numbers that keep Trump strategists awake at night. Indians constitute just 1% of the US population, yet they represent over 36% of all high-school immigrant entrepreneurs. They hold 72% of all H-1B visas. They founded more than 25% of billion-dollar startups. But here's the statistic that truly terrifies the America First movement. Indians now occupy CEO positions at companies worth a combined $2.5 trillion. That's not diversity hiring. That's intellectual domination. From Google's Sundar Pichai revolutionizing search and AI to Microsoft's Satya Nadella transforming cloud computing, from Adobe's Shantanu Narayan redefining creative software to Twitter's Parag Agrawal steering social media evolution. Indian minds aren't just participating in America's tech revolution. They're leading it. But Trump sees something else. Something that chills him to the core. These Indian leaders aren't just successful employees who work their way up. They're visionaries who fundamentally altered the trajectory of American innovation. Under their leadership, these companies haven't just grown. They've transcended their American origins to become truly global forces. And that's the real threat. Because when you can no longer control the minds that drive your most valuable companies, you've lost more than economic leverage. You've lost technological sovereignty. Let's not dance around this. When Trump tells Google and Microsoft to stop hiring Indians, he's not talking about immigration policy. He's talking about intellectual nationalism. He's not protecting American jobs. He's protecting American ego. Because here's what decades of data reveal. Indian professionals don't just fill positions in American companies, they elevate them. Every major technological breakthrough of the past 2 decades, from the algorithms powering Google search to the infrastructure enabling Microsoft's cloud dominance, has Indian fingerprints all over it. The rise of artificial intelligence, largely architected by Indian researchers at Stanford, MIT, and Google DeepMind. The smartphone revolution. Indian engineers designed the chips, coded the software, and optimized the user experience. the cloud computing boom that reshaped entire industries. Indian minds built the architecture, scaled the systems, and solved the impossible problems. This isn't about cheap labor anymore. This is about intellectual capital that has become irreplaceable. And Trump knows it. His advisors know it. Every American tech executive knows it. But here's the twist that makes this story even more fascinating. Trump's fear isn't just about Indian success in America. It's about India's independence from America. For decades, the equation was simple. India produced talent. America consumed it. Indian engineers would dream of Silicon Valley, work toward H-1B visas, and build their careers serving American technological ambitions. The brain drain was real, predictable, and beneficial to US interests. But something fundamental has shifted. Today's Indian professionals aren't just seeking American opportunities. They're creating alternatives to American systems. They're not just joining tech companies. They're founding them. They're not just moving to Silicon Valley. They're building Silicon Valleys back home. Bangalore has become Asia's tech capital. Hyderabad is rivaling Austin for startup density. Pune is emerging as a global AI research hub. Indian unicorns are solving problems that American companies haven't even identified yet. From PTM revolutionizing digital payments to Baiju transforming education. From Flipkart challenging Amazon to Ola competing with Uber, Indian innovation is no longer derivative. It's original. It's disruptive. It's independent. And that independence terrifies Trump more than any foreign threat ever could. Because when you can no longer brain drain a country, when you can no longer monopolize its talent, when that country starts building its own technological empire, you're no longer the only superpower in the room. You're just another player in a multipolar game. Here's the real reason behind Trump's directive. The truth that no American politician will admit publicly. India has achieved technological sovereignty not through conquest, not through espionage, through pure intellectual excellence. Today, India operates its own space program that lands on the moon at a fraction of NASA's cost. It runs its own digital payment system that processes more transactions than Visa and MasterCard combined. It develops its own AI models, trained on Indian languages, solving Indian problems, serving Indian needs. This isn't just economic growth. This is technological independence. And for someone like Trump who believes American dominance is a zero-sum game, India's rise represents America's decline. But here's the beautiful irony that Trump will never understand.